not talked about enough. There's a book written in 1893 called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Adventure. Now, we all know that's Donald Trump's son's name, but don't they also look a bit similar? In the book, Baron Trump is a time traveler, and his mentor's name is Don, as in his dad, Donald. And guess where the book takes place? Russia. And there have been a lot of investigations between all the sketchy shit going on between Trump and Russia. Russia was even accused of hacking the 2016 election. 4 years later, the same author releases a book called The Last President. This is when shit gets really real. It is about a wealthy man who lives on 5th Avenue and runs for president. Come back for part 2. Okay, here's part 2 of the Baron Trump time traveler book conspiracy theory. So in this second book by the same author called The Last President, this wealthy man who lives on 5th Avenue is running for president and he's not expected to win, which we all know that's where Donald Trump was living, on 5th Ave. After he wins, there is a lot of rioting and protesting and mobs begin to form, which the police have to help with. Okay, I swear I cannot make this shit up. But after his inauguration, he has to start picking people for his cabinet. And guess who he chooses? Someone named Pence. As in, yes, Mike Pence, the vice president. Okay, shit's getting even crazier now. In 1943, one of the most famous inventors, Nikola Tesla, died of a blood clot. He had many incredible predictions for the future and claimed he built a time-traveling machine. I'm sorry, come back for part 3. Okay, here's part 3 of the time-traveling president conspiracy. Let's go. So as I said in the last video, Nikola Tesla was a famous inventor who claimed he built a time-traveling machine. After Nikola Tesla died in a hotel room, which was a little fishy, Office of Alien Property and Custodian in the United States seized all of his work and notes. After they gave up trying to figure out Tesla's inventions, they hired an outside engineer who could understand his work. And who was that engineer? John Trump. That is the uncle of Donald Trump. John Trump was a very successful engineer, and Donald is said to have cited his uncle's credentials during his campaign. Also interesting facts is that Donald Trump's father's middle name is Christ. His mother's name is Mary. And Donald Trump was born on a total lunar eclipse. I'm not big into conspiracy theories, but this one was too crazy to ignore. Between the names, the books, and Nikola Tesla's time traveling makes this crazy.
The Titanic never actually sank, according to this theory. So the theory is the company that created the Titanic also had other boats, and one of their boats was called the Olympic. And supposedly, the Olympic had a couple collisions and it was on its last leg. So before the Titanic set sail, they switched ships. So basically, they put the Titanic logo on the Olympic because they knew it was going to sink, and that was so they could collect the insurance money. The Olympic had 16 portholes and the Titanic had 14 portholes. Here's a picture of the Titanic setting sail, and as you can see, there are 16 portholes on the side. James Cameron went to look for the Titanic wreckage while shooting the movie. He took a bunch of footage and photos and caught this picture of the Titanic. When you zoom in on the side, you can see a big letter M and P. Around that time of the Titanic, there was a big coal strike, thousands of people out of work, yet no one wanted to work on the ship due to rumors going around town. Most of the rich people who got invited to the Titanic didn't even show up. J.P. Morgan had a ticket and decided not to go. On the day the Titanic sank, the New York Times spotted J.P. Morgan out with his girlfriend at a restaurant. So let me know what you think.
Did Michael Jackson fake his own death? We need to talk about this! Okay, so on June 25th of 2009, Michael Jackson suddenly died of cardiac arrest. But his whole death was very suspicious, and here's why. First, we're gonna talk about the ambulance. So as we know, Jackson was put into an ambulance, driven to the hospital, and presumably died that night. Now, someone followed the ambulance after dropping Michael off without the driver knowing and caught this. Yeah, the ambulance went into a weird alley, covered up someone from the back, and brought them into a disclosed location. And it's been confirmed that the ambulance from that video is the same one that Michael Jackson was in. Okay, now let's talk about the funeral. The first weird sign was that his funeral was a closed casket funeral. Now, as I mentioned before, he died of cardiac arrest, which means that there was nothing physically wrong with his body, so why would he have a closed casket funeral? And people even think that a disguised Michael Jackson attended his own funeral. Fans think that this person right here is actually Jackson. Here's a closer image with the nose a little changed and they look identical. Let me know if y'all want part 2, and that's the conspiracy.
You guys, I think that Howie Mandel is being held captive. This might sound crazy, but in a recent TikTok video, Howie Mandel took out a random paper bag and labeled it shoe stuff, essentially making a DIY project. But this video is full of secret messages. Just in case he is actually being held captive, please signal boost his video, comment, follow, do whatever you can. You can see in this video that he's wearing a lifeguard hoodie, and on that hoodie, it gives away where he lives, Santa Monica. But also in this video, he points to the letters SOS in a triangle. Just look at this clip.
And can you see it? It says shoe stuff, shoe stuff.
If you didn't know, the letters SOS is a signal that you are in extreme danger. Just in case you missed it, let me replay it for you.
And